Welcome to the Heavy Spoilers Show. I'm your host, Definition. This is a dimension as vast as space and as timeless as infinity. It is the middle ground between not seeing the show and seeing it. It's the channel where we explain it so you don't have to. This is the Twilight Zone. The show has just dropped its third episode in the Jordan Peele reboot, and Replay definitely deserves, well, a replay. Throughout this video, I'll be breaking down everything that you need to know about the episode and its ending. This is full spoilers ahead, so if you haven't seen it yet, then I highly recommend that you turn off now. With that out the way, thanks for clicking the video, and let's dive into my ending explained breakdown of Replay. Out of all of the Twilight Zone episodes thus far, Replay is probably the most obvious with its social commentary. This is a clear discussion on racism and discrimination within the US police force, and the episode tries to analyse one of the most prevalent discussions in American society. We follow a proud single mother who, after drawing the attention of an apparently racist policeman known as Officer Lasky, is driven to disaster. Throughout the course of the episode, Nina discovers that the family's camera can rewind time, and she must use this newfound ability to divert the problem. Fans of the Twilight Zone will instantly recognise the devil head from Replay as being a device that was used in the original series in an episode called The Nick of Time. In that, two characters realise that a fortune-telling device at a diner actually had the ability to tell the future, and through asking it numerous questions they discover that they were on a doomed path. The episode centres around the question, is there any fate other than what we make for ourselves? And whilst the two protagonists manage to escape from the grasp of the machine, realising that they are in control of their destinies and not it, there are other characters who remain trapped by its bidding, refusing to leave because they believe it holds all the answers. Similar to that, Replay centres around the notion of branching pathways through taking different actions, and there's a clear indicator to things like the mystical 8-ball that has sort of been hinted at in the 8 Mile sign. No, that isn't a reference to the Eminem movie. Anyway, the episode follows Nina and her son Dorian drawing the unwanted attention of a racist policeman in a diner. The pair are heading to the fictional town of Tennyson, where Dorian is planning to study filmmaking. Nina throughout her life has kept a camcorder close by, as she's used it to document his progress all the way from his first steps to his future ones. Dorian accidentally spills sauce on himself, and when Nina rewinds the tape she becomes confused when Dorian's shirt becomes cleaned. It's upon this that Nina discovers that she has replayed the moment, which sets off the episode. The two continue their journey, and Dorian name drops Uncle Neil, who he states he's been chatting with online. Dorian is desperate to visit him, but Nina states that she doesn't really want to revisit the past, which sort of plays into her obsession that develops throughout the episode. It's at this point that Officer Lasky pulls them over, and whilst he's initially civil with the two, he's sent irate when he notices that the camera is recording. At this point he leans in to grab it, but Nina manages to rewind time to a safe moment before. This starts off a chain of events in which it seems like the pair are doomed to be stopped by Officer Lasky no matter what they do. Nina rewinds and replays moments from the past several times, even taking different routes, but it seems that no matter what, Lasky is always on their tail. This is a damned if you do and damned if you don't analysis of police brutality, and it's something that I'm sure a lot of people can relate to, and whilst it might sound a bit rich coming from a white man such as myself, there are definitely a wealth of examples where it seems like no matter what actions civilians took, the police still would have hounded them. Now, I'm not saying that police are bad, and I don't think that the episode itself is trying to whitewash it either. However, there is definitely a feeling that if you give someone the power of the law, that there will be an opportunity to abuse it, and it's rare that police who've wrongly murdered people are ever truly dealt with correctly by the justice system. There is even a point after one assault that Nina approaches Lasky at the diner and tries to humanise her son and states that he's all I have. However, this does nothing to dissuade him from tracking the two down, demanding to see proof of ownership of the car. Then, the inevitable happens that Nina's been trying to avoid when Lasky shoots Dorian. It's a really heartbreaking moment, and it sort of solidifies how lost the struggle can sometimes be for African Americans against a mind state that just wants to see them dead. After a visit to the morgue, Nina manages to travel back to the diner, and the pair make a hasty exit, and after bumping into Lasky once more, they decide to travel down the one road that they haven't yet, Nina's childhood home. After they arrive, it becomes clear why Nina didn't want to revisit the area, as one of her brothers was shot and killed there. Uncle Neil steps out to greet them and seems to acknowledge the camcorder's ability. However, he solidifies that Lasky cannot be escaped and that destiny is, well, destiny. Neil, who is a clear supporter of the Black Lives Matter movement, hammers home the point that change only happens when people unite, so they decide to take Dorian to school together. Neil, well versed in the area, knows all the best routes, and the family manage to almost make it to Tennyson. Unfortunately, Lasky catches them and pulls his gun, determined to stop Dorian from making it to the college grounds. This could perhaps be a comment on how society makes it difficult to travel the education system if you're a minority, but that might be a reach, and I'm not fully aware on the statistics, so I don't want to go too in depth on it. Anyway, Neil puts himself in the firing line and Nina joins him, holding the camera as more state troopers arrive. There are tons of witnesses and Lasky arrogantly asks, "Don't you watch the news?" implying that no matter how many onlookers there are, it's doubtful that he will be punished. Nina defiantly tells him that the days of Lasky abusing his authority are over and that her son will go to college, which, whilst very on the nose, is still a nice sentiment on the uprising of equality. She states, "You're the one who's really afraid," and with the help of her community, Dorian finally makes it to college. This of course signifies that when people unite and question the government, that change really happens and solidifies that there is power in numbers. The episode ends 10 years later when Dorian and his daughter visit Nina. The child unfortunately breaks the camera, but Dorian tells Nina to simply let it go. Nina agrees, now stuck in a future that she cannot control, and Dorian heads out to get some ice cream, which is when the episode ends and we hear an ominous cry of police sirens. Unfortunately to me, this signifies that Dorian did eventually get caught up to by his destiny, and it showed that even with the best intentions, that the character was always doomed to be another statistic. Nina will no longer be able to save the character, as she's probably done countless times, and this can perhaps be seen as a warning that though things are changing, they aren't progressing enough and we are still due for a lot more tragedy. It's a complete 180 on Nick of Time and shows that maybe perhaps we are all doomed to a negative ending if we continue to let those in power carry out their bad intentions and get away with it scot-free. Overall, it's a strong message and one that I can definitely see being interpreted differently depending on who's watching it. Obviously, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the episode and if you're enjoying the series so far. Comment below and let me know, and if you enjoyed this video then please like it and make sure you check out my breakdown of the first episode from the series, which will be linked at the end. This is a channel for people who are never missing television, so if that's the kind of thing you like, you need to subscribe to Definition. Thanks again for taking the time to watch this, you've been the best and I'll see you next time. Take care, peace.